You're right. This is going to be a DVD and Blu-ray update. It's around 15 Blu-rays and like 3 DVDs. What I'll do is I'll show off some of like the normal Blu-ray releases first, then I'll show the DVDs, and then I'll show the a lot of them are Digibooks, the last ones, so I'll show them at the end. Right, first up is Steve McQueen film. I've never seen this film. I know it's a classic, and you know, I hear like the particular car chase, and this is amazing. It's Bullet. You know, I mean, I'm sure most of you have seen it. I haven't seen it. You know, I suppose you know, we all like there's like a classic out there we haven't seen, and you know, you got to, you know, I like to get around to them in the end. Up next is a western, it's a great western. I had the DVD release for it, and I love the DVD release. It's Howard Hawks' Rio Bravo, real great western. John Wayne, Dean Martin, Ricky Nelson. You know, I'd really recommend it. It's a great film. I haven't had a chance to see what it looks like on Blu-ray. Up next is I had this on DVD, upgraded it. It's a good film. It's set in the Brazilian favelas. Sorry. And it's Elite Squad. Real good one. This, you know, I'd recommend this film. Yeah, it's a real good one. Up next, this is I had the privilege to see this film in January. I'm waiting for a long time for it to come out on Blu-ray. It really is gritty, kind of working class background of a film. Peter Mullen's Ned's kind of a young kid in 70s, early 70s, was it mid 70s Glasgow. His brother on the right, he's kind of heavily influenced by him. He's kind of in one of the youth gangs, and they have a rivalry with another gang, leads to some fucking brutal fights, really realistic. There's a bit in this of such just indifference to someone's life. I can't even put it into words, like what he does to a kid. When you see it, you're like, fucking hell. It's just so casually just fucking brutal. It's just it's really harsh. The next is this is a great film as well. I love some of the battle sequences in this. It's Kubrick's Barry Lyndon. You know, I don't need to talk about that. You know, I'm sure you've all seen it. It's a great film. And up next is an Australian release. Great film. I had this on VHS. Didn't upgrade it to DVD. Real good cast. Gabriel Byrne, Lance Henriksen, Robert Mitchum, and Johnny Depp's Dead Man. It's all sort of trippy western. Michael Wincott's in this as well. It's a good one. You know, I'd recommend that film. It's really weird, but in a good way. And last for like the normal Blu-ray releases, stars 2 actors I really do, you know, like their work. Ray Winston, Tamora Morrison, kind of in similar films like in the mid-90s, and with Ray being in Nil by Mouth and Tamora being in Once Were Warriors. And it's The Tracker. Ray Winston's an ex-Boer commando, and he's come back from the war a year after the Boer War. It's like 1903. He's in New Zealand, and he becomes basically part of a posse that track down Tamora Morrison for an apparent murder. It's really good. The cinematography in this, the landscapes of New Zealand. There's this thing when they visit that old I don't really know what it'd be called. A sort of Maori kind of spiritual kind of cave, and they find that whale carcass with the bones up on like the side of this cavern. It's amazing. The fight as well with him and Tamura is just great and brutal. It's a really good one. I really recommend that film. It's awesome. God, New Zealand looks just a gorgeous place. Right up next, what I'll do now, I'll show the DVDs. This is from Warner Archive. I had this on bootleg. It's a really good film. I like my history films. It's the day Lincoln was shot. Oh, got that. The light's a bit better. Lance Hendrickson and is it Rob Morrow playing John Wilkes Booth. Really good film. Really recommend this. You know, if you're into history films. They've released you know, some good of this period on like the Warner Archive. The Hunley, which I've got on order as well, and that's a great film. But this is a great film as well. Up next is a film. I kind of waited. I wanted to get the steelbook of it. It's a good film. It's definitely shows like it's a good take on like the youth subculture in Britain of the mid-60s. It's Quadrophenia. It's a really nice little steelbook. It's a good film. Good, you know, decent soundtrack. You kind of feel a bit sorry for Jimmy and his mates. Kind of, I don't know. I think they're gonna let him down a bit at the end. I got to say. You know, I think the ending should have been he should have become a rocker or something. And he should have met him at the end and just, you know, kick the fuck out of him. I don't know, man. Just his mates, man. Leslie Ash, man. You know, just kind of doing the dirty on him while he's like down, you know, in the cells in Brighton and that. You know, I thought it was pretty harsh. Good film, though. Up next, this is from the director of Ebola Syndrome, An Untold Story, and probably from like a filmmaking like perspective, it's probably the better of those two films. Not as crazy as them. Ebola Syndrome's the most crazy. I mean, I love Untold Story, but Ebola Syndrome's the most crazy. But this is Taxi Hunter with Anthony Wong. It's fucking mad. It's probably taken from a more serious stance, but it's basically Anthony Wong. This film actually saved one, I think, guy that really does demonise taxi drivers to just insane levels. Brilliantly funny. His pregnant wife. Basically, she gets trapped in the door of a taxi, but just gets dragged, you know, and she dies, and you know the kid dies, and then he basically kind of goes on a mission slaughtering taxi drivers. It's real funny, really good film. Really recommend that. Just if you're a fan of those two films, you'll watch that. It's not as crazy as those two, but it's still pretty brilliant, I have to say. Right up next, this is a really nice. I'll show this if I get to the Digibooks. This is Jason Statham and Ben Foster. It's The Mechanic. It's a Blu-ray steelbook. It's really nice. I really do like this. I'll try to open it up. I'll show you a little bit inside. You know, I haven't had a chance to see the film yet, but you know, I've seen the original with Bronson. You know, that's a great film. You know, I'm sure that'd be pretty decent. Right up next, now I've saved one normal Blu-ray till last because that is my not a film of the month, just a film that I just would recommend you all to watch. But I'll show that at the end. Right. First up is a Digibook of an absolutely just amazing film. I try to move back a bit because I want to give it kind of justice with the light. It's The Hustler, Paul Newman and Jackie Gleason. Just fucking awesome film. I'll try to show these. You know, I probably won't go into detail of every page, but you know, if you haven't, I'm sure most people have seen the film. It's just a great film. Jackie Gleason as Fats Minnesota, and this is just awesome. You know, he's a great pool player in his own right as well. Yeah, it's really good. And George C. Scott. Totally forgot George C. Scott for a second. Forgot his name. He's great in it as well. Yeah, but I'd really recommend the film. I'd recommend, you know, this release. They've done a great job. It's really great film. Next Digibook is Western. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. It's John Wayne, and you know I'm a big fan of John Wayne. It's The Comancheros. It's it's a really nice release. Lovely Digibook. Oh no, I have to pull this back a little bit. Slightly awkward to get out. Comes with kind of quite thin kind of art kind of cards. Not really art cards. Go quite thin. Put that down to the side. Yeah, it's just I love like a good western, which I got another western I'll show in a minute on Blu-ray, and I was blown away by the quality of it. But this I'll definitely watch soon, because as I say, I haven't had a chance to see the film. Just show a little bit more inside. Good to see Lee Marvin in it as well. Lee Marvin's always a badass, man. You know, just a badass old actor, just great actor. That looks lovely. Real nice release, man. You know, both of those, man. Both of the Huss and Comanche's really nice release. Up next is a film. You know, I do like the film. I'm probably not as a massive fan as some people like probably are. Like, you know, I mean, but I do appreciate it. Like, it's Stanley Kubrick's Clockwork Orange. This is again like just an awesome release. Comes with another like irritating little piece of paper inside. I'll just take that out. That's kind of what it looks like inside. I have to say that the Digibook is really nice. It's really well laid out. And it's, you know, it's an absolute, you know, it's a great film for the time. As I said, it's not like one of my favourite films of all time, but you know, I definitely appreciate it. You know, I suppose, you know, when people look back now, they're probably like, oh, you know, why was it banned? You know, and they're like, you know, you give props to Malcolm McDowell, who I'm a fan of. I do like Malcolm McDowell. You know, he's real good in this, and it's yeah, it's a really nice release. I can't knock the release at all. It's lovely. Up next, this is a great prison film. Steve McQueen is awesome in it, and you know, Dustin Hoffman. Although, as I said, I'm not a massive fan of Hoffman. He's great in it. It's a Papillon. It's this. Oh god, this release is real nice. It's a great. You know, as I said, I mean, most of these films I'm going to show, you know, you've seen or you must have heard of, and I'd recommend them all. I'd really recommend this film. Steve McQueen particularly is just, oh, he's fucking awesome in it. When he kind of gets put in solitary, like, god, it's really brutal. Really brutal. I'll just show a little bit more. That's a great picture of Hoffman there. It's Louis Daguerre. Show it just a little bit more. I probably should have done this in kind of 2 parts, but sorry about like the length of the video if it goes on like, you know, a little bit longer. Yeah, but that's really nice. There's 2 Digibooks to go, and absolutely fantastic films. This film is an absolute amazing, great adventure film. So sad at the end. Honest, really sad. It's The Man Who Would Be King, Michael Caine, Sean Connery and Christopher Plummer. Just an awesome film. If you haven't seen it, and this Digibook is absolutely fucking gorgeous. It really is. Really have done justice to it, and it's one of those films, man, where like I watch and it's just when it comes to the end, man, I hate it. It's real sad. John Huston there, but you know, he's done it really is. You know, when they say it's a horrible kind of cliche thing, but they don't make films like this anymore. They really don't. You know, just the time and kind of the detail and this, as I said, this Digibook is art, and it's just great. Connery and Caine in this, you know, the chemistry between them is just awesome. If you haven't seen the film, you know, please watch it, because it's great. Oh, it's Danny there. It's just an awesome film, absolutely awesome. Up next is probably, I kind of kept this to second but last because I love this film. Probably one of my favourite films of all time. And when you watch it again, you really realise the body count is just quite fantastic, and just Eastwood is just effortlessly badass. Doesn't even have to try. You know, some actors really trying to make an effort to make themselves cool. Doesn't have to. Outlaw Josie Wells. This is probably my favourite Eastwood film of all time. I love this film. One of my favourite westerns. You know, Josie Wells, just a farmer in Missouri. Now you see, the timing like of the film, I think it's probably, you see, like the war in Missouri is almost like a civil war within a civil war, because it was going on in the 1850s. But I'd say it's probably just before the American Civil War. And his family get butchered by Kansas Redlegs. Redlegs being just the sort of the pro-unionists of in Missouri. And he joins, I think it's Bloody Bill Anderson, and then afterwards he goes on the warpath. There's so many great scenes in this film when he's in the Union camp on the Gatling gun, just blowing people away, and then when he meets Abe and Elijah, then when he meets when he takes on like the Comanche, the Comancheros, gang dealing with the Comanche. My favourite scene in this whole film is when he's in Indian Territory and he approaches that store, and the way he kicks in the door, the way he's silhouetted, and you know those two scumbags are forcing themselves on that Indian squaw, and he just blows them away. It's just fucking awesome. It's an awesome film. It's one of the best. Eastwood is just, it's just amazing. Just, and the quality of it is fantastic. Really have done an amazing job with the transfer. Just get that, just pick that up. And the last other video, and I've recommended this to like a few people on here. It's a Spanish film, one of the most trippy, fucked up, mad films I've seen in ages. And it's the Sad Trumpet Ballad. It's going to be released probably as The Last Circus, kind of over here, which is a shame because that name is shit. It's a crazy film about clowns and a circus, but it begins set during the Spanish Civil War. This guy's father, played by Santiago Segura, joins the Spanish rebels in an attack on Franco's forces with a machete, causing chaos. The film kind of gets more crazier. When he goes batshit insane, the film is just so funny. When he bites General Franco on the hand in this, I swear to God, I thought I was going to just die from laughter. So many funny bits in it. It is, if you're a person who's kind of politically correct, then you know you kind of frown on, oh God, most things. Particularly they have a quite comedic stance of like quite extreme things such as like domestic violence. But it's so crazy you can't help but laugh. It's a brilliant film. You know, please watch it, because it's mad, it's gory, it's just so over the fucking top. It's brilliant. It's how film should be made. Total insanity. It's absolutely fantastic. Recommended totally. It's a great film. One of the best I've seen in ages. Totally original as well. You know, not kind of some remade or kind of rehashed kind of tripe. It's great. And yeah, that's the end of the update. And you know, sorry about the length of the video. I just had, you know, a fair bit like a backlog type of stuff. Yeah, and cheers for watching, and cheers for like commenting and subscribing.